everyone. My name is Delilah. So I am a holistic registered dietitian. So I call myself like a mind, body, soul RD because I feel like all those parts are equally like fundamentally important when it comes to wellness, and that's my approach when I work with clients. So I'm a plant-based dietitian. So I work with people to help them either adopt a vegan diet or just a more plant forward diet nonetheless. And I work with people depending on what their health conditions are, PCOS, diabetes, whatever it might be, or just general health and wellness. And then I'm also an energy healer. So I do Reiki, and I also work with flower essences, which are another type of energy healing. And that just helps further support and reinforce the differences, the changes that we're making on a physical level, like with our body and with our diet, because the two are so interrelated. Like we can have a really healthy body, but if our spirit is out of whack, right? And same thing vice versa. So the two support one another. So I like to tie those two things in together when it comes to nutrition counseling. I also offer my clients energy healing. And then thirdly, because I do wear a couple different hats, movement is super important to me. So I'm also a dance fitness instructor. I do belly dance fitness. I've taught all kinds of fitness classes like strength, all that good stuff. But right now, what I'm doing, and what I think I'll just do forever, honestly, it's what makes my heart sing, is belly dance fitness. So kind of like Zumba, like follow along, but belly dance style. And I have a YouTube channel where all my classes are, and I do some live classes each week, twice a week, through Sharky, which is the name of that platform. All right, so today we will be talking about nutrition and aging, and I'm going to talk about specifically the different kinds of foods that can either contribute or help mitigate the natural wear and tear on our body that comes along with aging. And I'm also going to talk about the most common health concerns that arise as you progress into older age. And so overall, my goal for you all is to walk away from here with a better ability to help prioritize food choices that are going to help you age more gracefully. Because I'm not trying to reverse aging. Nothing wrong with aging, right? Our body has to age, but we want to do it gracefully. We don't want to be in pain. We want a good quality of life. All right, cool. So I think we're all good now to just dive right in. Just so you know, at the end of this, I'll share it later again on YouTube. We're recording, so just in case someone comes in late and they miss the beginning, it's all good. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to do a screen share, and bear with me for just one moment. I'm going to do a screen share, and I'll be talking through this presentation. And as we're going in, or as I'm going through this, type in any questions that come up in the chat, because at the end I'm going to set aside a few minutes for you guys to first do like a live Q&A, basically. All right, so let me go ahead and share. Bam. All right, here we are. A bit frozen. Sorry. There we go. Why is my computer moving so slow? What in the world? What the heck? Come on. My computer is aging. Okay, that's what we want. That's what you want. All right, friends. So, nutrition and aging. All right, let's dive in. So, first things first, prevention is key. So, even before I even start talking about like eat vitamin C, strawberries, tomatoes, I'm going to talk about just overall what you can try to limit your exposure to in general that will support strong, healthy aging. And there are two basic things. One is called AGEs, and the other one is environmental pollutants. So let's dive more into what AGEs are. So AGE stands for Advanced Glycation End Products, and that acronym is so like ironically appropriate because they accelerate our aging process, and they do so because they create inflammation and oxidative stress in the body, and that just creates more wear and tear on our body in different ways, which contributes to faster aging. AGEs are associated with the development of various chronic diseases like chronic kidney disease, type 2 diabetes especially, but overall just kind of like speeds up the wear and tear on our body. Now, some of them these are both endogenous and exogenous, meaning from both inside of our body and outside of our body. So inside of our body, they are naturally occurring in a sense, just by like the, thousands of like metabolic processes that happen in our body. But our body will naturally detoxify and let go of them, right? That's just what's in our body. But the vast majority actually comes from our diet, like vast majority from our diet. And from our diet, it's mostly meat foods. And right now I'm going to talk more so about the different foods that are high in AGEs, but later on, AGEs will continue to come up throughout this chat, and I'll get more into how and why, like how they affect different parts of our body, particularly the brain health, and why that is important when it comes to aging. So top AGE foods, top 6, fried beef, roasted chicken, broiled hot dog, boiled lamb, boiled salmon, and French fries. Now, I do have another source that listed a slightly different, although similar, top 6. And that source, the top 6 were number 1, barbecue chicken, number 2, bacon, number 3, broiled hot dog, number 4, roasted chicken thigh, number 5, roasted chicken leg, and number 6, pan-fried steak. So those two sources, although different, had different but still similar top 6 foods. And the thing that I want to bring to your attention here, you guys, is that these are all cooked in dry heat methods. So they're baking, roasting, broiling, frying. These are all dry heat methods. And the cooking method also plays a factor into the AGE development in these foods. So AGEs, they develop from a chemical reaction. Not going to go into the chemistry of it, but by changing the cooking method, that can reduce a little bit the amount of AGEs produced. Another thing you'll notice is that there are, aside from the French fries, there aren't any plants on there, right? So that's just even more reason to really adopt a more plant-forward diet. So going back to the cooking methods, so you'll see I also added a list of lower alternatives. So instead of fried beef, stewed beef, boiled chicken, boiled hot dog, poached salmon, boiled potatoes. So all these moist heat cooking methods such as steaming, boiling, braising, stewing, those are a better way to consume these meats. If you do consume meat, it's a more ideal way to reduce your exposure to AGEs. So, all right, what can we do? All right, first of all, reduce your intake of high AGE foods, the ones listed there. And like I said, they're primarily from our meats. And if you do eat meat, just definitely be very mindful of the way that you cook them. Definitely opt for moist heat cooking methods instead of dry heat. So just to recap, moist heat cooking methods: stewing, steaming, boiling; dry heat, that is grilling, frying, baking. And prioritize antioxidant-rich foods. So I'm going to say antioxidants a lot throughout this whole chat. And that's because, look, fundamentally, like to boil down this whole 30 minutes into like 2 sentences, inflammation and oxidative stress causes more wear and tear on our body, which results in more faster aging. Antioxidants combat oxidative stress and inflammation. So in a nutshell, that's why you really want to have antioxidant-rich foods as a regular part of your diet. And I put that asterisk there because when it comes to antioxidant-rich, you're really searching for colorful foods, those different food pigments, red, yellow, green, orange, purple, blue, all the different colors. These pigments in these fruits and vegetables, they have antioxidant properties, and that's what we really want to go for. So yes, eat the rainbow. All right, next one, environmental pollutants. All right, so we could spend a whole hour talking about this, but I'm gonna like just really sum it up. We are exposed to environmental pollutants in a wide variety of ways, not just through food, but products, the air, our clothes, skincare, everything. And when we eat meat, or when we eat food, that's another way that we're exposed, both through plants and meat products. I'm not going to say that because produce can still be contaminated for sure. But vast majority comes through animal fats, because when these pollutants enter the environment, they get stored in animal fat tissue, and we eat those animals, right? And then again, we are animals too, so they get stored in our fat tissue as well. So tips limit exposure: try to opt for organic dairy products if you do eat dairy, if you eat dairy and meat, or low-fat dairy, low-fat meat. The Environmental Working Group has an amazing list they update every year called the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen. That's another good list to go by. It really helps you to decide what is worth of buying organic and what you can kind of get away with if it's not organic. Like, it's very helpful. And they even expand the list past 15 and Dirty Dozen. Like, they have a whole lot of information there. And again, prioritize antioxidant-rich foods. So grapes, green tea, turmeric, cacao, berries, all that good stuff, right? Now you might be wondering, what if I just take an antioxidant supplement, right? Can I just do that? Because there are green tea supplements, resveratrol supplements, and I really encourage people to get the whole food form of these antioxidants, because studies have shown that when they isolate these nutrients, they don't see the effects that they're really always hoping to see. So there's something about when these nutrients are in their whole food matrix that our body tends to respond much better. So as often as possible, I always recommend to eat the whole food. So bottom line, reduce your AGE exposure, eat antioxidant-rich foods, combat inflammation, and lower your animal fat intake. That is if you eat animal fats. Cool. All right, so I'm going to go over the different health concerns and how they relate to aging and what kind of nutrients we can eat to support. So skin. All right, so quick pause. I realize I have a lot of different things to go over in a fairly short amount of time. So I'm going to try my very best to get through as much as possible with respect to our time. And also, I do want to make time for a Q&A at the end, because I feel like that's such a valuable thing with these live sessions. All right, so skin, again, antioxidant-rich foods. So some examples. So vitamin E rich foods, almonds, avocado, sunflower seeds, vitamin C, strawberry, citrus, tomatoes, selenium. Brazil nuts are usually pretty rich in selenium. Although selenium is one of those minerals where it really depends on the soil content. If the soil is rich in the mineral, then the food is. However, that's really hard to tell when you just go to the grocery store. But just try to get these foods in. Brazil nuts, sunflower seeds again, mushrooms, navy beans, different types of seafood if you're a person who eats seafood, like salmon, tuna, sardines. Lycopene, that's what makes certain foods red. So watermelon, tomato, carotenoids. So those are the yellow, orange colored foods. So like pumpkin, sweet potato, papaya, mango, yellow and orange bell peppers, carrots, even spinach and kale too. Also even spirulina, moringa powder. And raw cacao is also not a carotenoid, but it is a really strong antioxidant. Omega-3 fats, fats in general, I know like the low fat craze isn't really that big anymore, which is great, but if you want to have healthy skin, like you need to have fat in your diet, and ideally healthy fats, like unsaturated fats, including omega-3s. So chia, hemp, flax, walnuts. If you eat fish, different oily fishes like salmon, sardines, mackerel. Zinc. So zinc is also really important for our skin health. These are different food sources of zinc. And biotin. I know people take biotin supplements a lot. And again, kind of going back to what I just mentioned earlier about the supplements, it's so much better to always get them, to get these nutrients in their whole food matrix. And on top of that, biotin is a water-soluble vitamin, right? So if we take in too much, our body will just pee out the excess. So it's almost like you're peeing your expensive vitamins out. So that's not great. And plus, biotin is still widely available in many different foods. So I highly recommend to just eat these types of foods. And water, drink water, drink more water. I can't stress that one enough. Collagen supplements. So what about collagen supplements? So from what I understand, the marine sources of collagen are more preferable to bovine because they more closely resemble the structure of our own collagen that our body produces. But you'll be hard pressed to find a vegan collagen supplement. I tried, I only found like one blog article that mentioned you could make it from bacteria, but then I tried to trace back that journal article. I didn't have access to it, and I still couldn't find any other information. So vegan collagen supplements, not quite there. Do they work? For the most part, yes. However, honestly, it's still not clear if we wouldn't just get those same benefits from just eating enough protein and different nutrients. So it's kind of up in the air with the collagen supplements. So there are collagen boosting nutrients, and these are the vegan options that you'll usually see at the store, collagen boosters. So just eat more of these foods because these are the foods, or these are the nutrients that our body uses to produce collagen in our body. Vitamin C, zinc, copper, so food sources of copper, spirulina, dark green leafy veggies. If you eat seafood, seafood's an option. Shiitake mushroom, sunflower seeds, spinach, and the different amino acids. So just get enough protein. And going back to AGEs, not damage, but they kind of hamper the structure of your collagen in your body. So thereby further contributing to aging. Because as you all know, collagen is really important for our skin, elasticity, and our skin elasticity. So whatever is going to negatively affect collagen is going to negatively affect your skin. And AGEs absolutely do so. All right, bone health. So we lose bone as we age for a variety of different reasons, mostly due to hormonal changes, both men and women. So women, it's because we have decreased estrogen as we age, especially after menopause, especially that first 5 years after menopause. But same thing with men too, because they have decreased amounts of testosterone as they age. And by the way, testosterone is used to create estrogen in our body, right? Also, as we age, our body gets a little less efficient at using vitamin D, and vitamin D is important for calcium absorption. So it's important to have, it's usually generally highly recommended for people even before they're elderly to have a vitamin D supplement because it enhances calcium absorption and supports bone health. The need for a calcium supplement will vary because it really just depends on you and your personal medical history, so that consult with your doctor on. And you might be wondering about dairy, so should I take in dairy? Dairy for calcium, I recommend that you focus more on your dark green leafy veggies for sources of calcium as opposed to dairy. So yes, dairy is a good source of calcium, but then there are also other factors to consider. So just like I mentioned earlier, a couple slides ago, about the environmental pollutants and how they are often stored in the fat of animals. So dairy is also rich in saturated fats and animal fats. So for other reasons, I urge people to prioritize your efforts for consuming calcium through dark green leafy veggies, and plant-based sources, also like fortified non-dairy milks. So calcium-rich foods, also weight-bearing and resistance exercise. Those will also support your bone health, and vitamin D supplementation. Also good to kind of note that peak bone mass. So we reach our peak bone mass around the age of like 18-ish, 20, 18, early 20s. And then then it kind of starts to level off a little bit after that. So what you can do, and I'm sure most of us here are probably past the age of 18. I know I definitely am. So what we can do is to still consume calcium-rich foods, but also keep in mind that it's still very important to incorporate weight-bearing and resistance exercises as well. Cool. So let's get into brain health. All right, because that's a really, really big one. So brain health, different nutrients to support brain health. Vitamin B12, that is a supplement I definitely do recommend, vegan or not actually, because it supports our nerve cell function and DNA synthesis. It's needed for the formation or maturation of our red blood cells. And as we age, like elderly, as we get much older, we have decreased absorption of B12 just because of like the changes in our stomach acid. Omega-3 fats. So for omega-3 fats, our body does convert the plant-based omega-3 fats, the ALA, to DHA and EPA, although in smaller amounts. So for that reason, I would say it's also highly recommended to supplement with a vegan omega-3 supplement, in addition to eating omega-3 rich foods. Before, I used to feel like, well, if you eat enough omega-3 rich plant-based sources, good chance you might convert enough. And I used to only kind of recommend omega-3 supplements for like the at-risk populations, like children, pregnant, and elderly. But now I'm moving more towards, I think it's good for general population overall. Antioxidants again. So nootropics, those are basically substances, and those can be either drugs or herbs that improve cognitive function. And this is kind of getting more into the realm of herbs. But they're very helpful to brain function because they provide the nutrients that we need for our nervous system to function. So some examples of this are lion's mane, ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil, also known as tulsi tea, ginseng as well. And then AGEs, again, we want to really avoid them. So I think this next slide will be kind of interesting because so AGE is now this kind of getting more into like really what they do when it comes to like our brain and our brain health and aging. So they have been associated with faster decline in the elderly. And this 2011 study, they followed these participants for a course of 9 years. And they noticed, and they measured the level of AGEs in their urine. And they noticed that people with more AGEs had faster cognitive decline. Also, AGE suppress the activity of a certain enzyme called sirtuin in our brain, and it has a very protective effect on brain health because it maintains the integrity of our DNA too. So again, for a variety of reasons, AGEs really accelerate the aging process, and they are not good for brain health, basically. All right, heart health. So with heart health, a lot of the things that support your heart also support your brain. A good way to think about this is that you want to support the health of the blood vessels that support your heart, the blood vessels that supply your heart, and the blood vessels that supply your brain. So whatever you can do to keep those blood vessels healthy is great for your heart and great for your brain. Different nutrients, fiber, potassium, magnesium, antioxidants, again, right? And the reason there's so much I'm putting such an emphasis on supporting the blood vessels is because if you think about it, once a blood vessel that supplies the heart gets clogged, it's a heart attack. A blood vessel that gets damaged that supplies the brain, it's a stroke, right? So usually what's healthy for the heart is healthy for the brain for the most part. Omega-3 supplements. So I do recommend them more so in the case of brain health. Mixed findings on the heart, but I mean, they mostly work, um, but definitely for brain health. Now, what type of a supplement? And I recommend a vegan source, mostly just so you can reduce your exposure to environmental contamination. And again, do continue to eat the omega-3 rich plant-based sources in addition to supplements. All right. So these next two about muscle and digestion is going to be a quicker breeze because I want to jump back out for quick Q&A. So as we age, the bottom line is that as we age, our muscle mass decreases, and so does our kidney function. Studies have shown that more plant-forward diets actually preserve muscle mass better. And the question usually is when people get older, or the dilemma is that, well, we need more protein because we're losing muscle, but at the same time, our kidney function is declining, and protein is kind of taxing on the kidneys. So what should we do? Should we eat more meat protein? Should we eat more plant protein? The result is eat more plant protein because plant protein or plant forward diets preserve muscle mass, and plants are less taxing on the kidneys. And plant proteins have more fibers, which will kind of come into play when I talk about digestion. Also, calorie intake. As you get older, our calorie needs decrease. So make sure now I'm talking about like elderly people, make sure you're just eating enough, period. And then movement again, weight resistance, weight bearing exercises and resistance. Then lastly, digestion. Keyword here, fiber, right? Because as you get older, constipation and diverticulosis are like the top two issues when it comes to being older and digestion. So people tend to not eat enough fiber. They don't drink enough water, further contributing to constipation, less movement, medications. Diverticulosis, what is that? So that is when diverticula are these like pouches or bulges in our large intestine, and they're usually created from pressure. It's associated with low fiber intake and constipation. And people can have these without any symptoms, right? Or sometimes they can get flared up, and it's called diverticulitis. The key thing is to eat enough fiber, to support healthy digestion, healthy colon health. And so again, that's another reason to prioritize the plant protein more so than the animal protein in older age. So this kind of summarizes everything when it comes to healthy digestion, fiber and fluids, probiotics, will also support your immune health and digestive health, and colon health, antioxidants, fiber-rich foods, plant-based proteins. This is just a really cool visual that I love to share with clients about why we should eat the rainbow. It is amazing. This is from the Physicians Committee on Responsible Medicine. They are a fabulous resource when it comes to plant-based nutrition from scholarly sources. They're amazing, and this is like one of my most favorite education tools that they have out. Questions. All right, that was a lot in a very short amount of time. I'm going to try to stop the screen share, and I'm going to go back to the chat because I want to see if anyone has any questions that might have come up, or if we can take. Do you have like a couple minutes, Rosie?
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah. And also, if anyone wants to ask a question over audio, you just have to raise your hand. So that function should be at the bottom of your screen, and we can enable your audio so you can ask a question to us.
Sweet. Oh, Lisa. Okay. Lisa. Hey.
Hi, good afternoon. So my question is for someone who may have suffered a heart attack and may also be diabetic. What combination of foods and supplements will you recommend?
Gotcha. Okay, so heart health and you know what? Something I didn't mention. But people who are diabetic tend to have more AGEs in their body. So the bits that I was like mentioning about reducing your AGE, your exposure to AGE or AGE rich foods, that's like really, really key for you. So as much as you can, if you do eat meat, cook it in moist heat methods, or just eat less meat in general would be really ideal. For heart health, high fiber, magnesium rich foods. I wouldn't say you need to take like a magnesium or potassium supplement. Focus more on plant sources, like whole food sources of these foods, and unsaturated fats. So the heart healthy fats, so from nuts, seeds, olives, and avocados.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.